Hello and welcome back to Work in Progress of Nicole Engelmann, where I have honest chats with other business owners, founders, and creatives. Today I'm joined by Selina Barker, who is a coach, an author, and the founder of the Project You journals. Hi, Selina. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. All the better for seeing you. I guess a little disclaimer. We've known each other for quite a while. I
Ah.
think 2018. So Selina is a client of mine and I'm a client of hers. Get all the journals. But yeah, we've been working together ever since, and it's our annual kind of
Oh,
meetup.
long may it last. I love, love, love working with you. Yeah, we've done so many different types of photo shoots, and
Yeah.
I've recommended you to so many people because you're just so brilliant at it. And the shots are always amazing. And every year I say, I think this is our best shoot yet.
And every year I say, you say that every year.
But then I always think it is. But yeah,
Yeah. No
love working
worries.
with you.
And I love working with you. I guess we get started with, how long have you been in business? What was your journey like?
Oh,
And why
wow.
why do you do what you do?
Oh, great questions. Why do I do what I do? I'm going to start with that one. I do what I do because I just did not fit the traditional mold of work. Like the moment I stepped into the world of 9 to 5 office work, which was the first kind of work I stepped into, I knew I couldn't do it. Like every cell in my body was like, I felt like a caged animal. I was like, get me out of here. And what was really interesting was I'd been a really good girl at school, but I had been incredibly bored. Like I had just constantly said to myself as a mantra, one day this will be over and you will be free. I was like, one day the school, the education, having to do what you're told to do, sitting at a desk all day, having this complete lack of autonomy, one day it will be over and you will be free. So when I stepped into that office with the 9 to 5 routine and a boss, I was like, this is exactly the same. And also I'd been to a girls' school. So now I had to deal with like all the misogyny that I was like, what? No one had told me about the patriarchy. I was just like, this isn't for me. And I remember it to this day. And this was about 20 or more years ago. Um, just really looking ahead at my future of work. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. I don't even feel like I had choice because I feel like it impacted straight from the off so much on my mental health and my well-being that I just knew I couldn't do it. And I didn't grow up with a entrepreneurial family. I didn't have people around me that were running their own businesses. This was before Instagram. We weren't seeing this kind of thing. Entrepreneur was a bit of a dirty word when I first started out. It was a bit like, what even is that? It was something that they did in America. They didn't really do it in the UK. And, we just didn't, girl boss he hadn't even been invented. Luckily, we're kind of coming out of that through the other side. But I knew I wanted to do it differently. And I knew there were people out there. I knew there had to be people out there who were doing work they really enjoyed, which gave them freedom and creativity and fun and fulfillment. And I remember saying this to someone I was working with at the time. I was like, I'm going to go off and I'm going to find people who are working in a different way. I'm going to learn from them how I can create a career that I really love, that really suits me. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show other people how they can do it too. And only now I'm like, so you want to be a career change coach, is what I was saying at the time. And funny enough, the guy that I said this to, his brother was just starting an online platform for people that wanted to change career. So I got in touch with him. I ended up co-founding the business. It still exists, careershifters.org. It's a fantastic resource for people wanting to change career, still going to this day. And that's how it all began. And then we sort of worked there. I left my job. I then did a whole range of things, selling burritos in markets in East London, teaching Spanish, doing events work all over the world. Like I've had an amazing portfolio career for quite a few years. And then just found I had this real passion for helping people who wanted to change careers. So I started off interviewing loads of coaches and loads of people who were changing career and really started to understand the journey that was required. And then at some point I tried my hand at coaching, and it really felt like something that I was born to do. Like I really got to use. I'm very intuitive, which I didn't really know what that was at the time, but now I understand it to be my intuition. And that really came into play as a real tool that I could use. And the journey started there. And then it's taken so many twists and turns. And at some point, I created this end of year exercise. I mean, I've created a lot of coaching tools in my time, but I created a goodbye, hello exercise. I think it was about 15 years ago. And I really just wanted to pause as I got to the end of one year and reflect on the year and how it had gone and have a think about what I wanted the next year to be all about. So I created this worksheet that I did and I shared with my friends and some of my clients, and they loved it. And then over the years, that sort of formed into a dream of, I want this to become a real journal that we can do every year. We can hold in our hands and we can see it building up on our bookshelf. So 9 years ago, the wonderful Vicky Pavitt, who you also know very well, you've done many photo shoots with, I said to her, we had a business at the time, Project Love. I said, I really want to make this dream come true. And she said, okay, let's do it. So we did a crowdfunder. And 9 years later, the goodbye 2025 hello 2026 journal
Mm.
is here, and it's being sold in Barnes and Noble, Oliver Bonus, hopefully the Tate Modern again, because I love it there. WH Smith are selling it this year, and it's going to thousands of people around the world, and it's such a dream come true. And that's now sort of really taken me onto this new path of having a journals publishing business. I didn't enjoy my experience working within the publishing industry. I published a book called Burnt Out. Loved some of the people I worked with, but overall I found the publishing industry, and now it's coming out. Now people are really being outspoken about it. And I was proud to be part of that. I didn't enjoy the experience. I was like, I will do it myself. And actually, again, the autonomy. Hard though it is running your own business. And I have to say, I think right now we're going through a particularly tough time and have been since the pandemic. I still love it. I love it for the freedom and the fulfillment, the creativity that it gives me. And anytime I'm finding it terrifying because I'm not sure how I'm going to pay my mortgage or my bills, which happens quite a lot. I wish it weren't that. That's the only thing I would say is that 20 years ago, I thought by this point I would be out of the sort of the financial insecurity, but I found the past 6 years or so have been really challenging for coaches. But I'm loving running a journals business, and that's now what I do. And I run an online membership as well, which I absolutely love. And yeah, that's me. I would say in a
In a
nutshell, but
nutshell,
not a
yeah,
nutshell.
maybe an oyster shell. It's slightly bigger,
Yeah,
isn't
an
it?
enormous nutshell.
I love that, and I always get excited when I, go to Oliver Bonus or stuff like that, and I see the journal. I was like, oh, it's here.
Yeah,
And then I sent you pictures before. I was like, oh, I saw it. So
yeah.
that's really great. So what timescale are we talking about? So have you been like self-employed for 20 years then, or?
Yeah. So, well, I've been fully self-employed for 15 years.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure, yeah, because I had my last proper employed job was as a recruitment consultant, but it was one of the nice ones. It was one of the nice recruitment consultants. I did that for a couple of years, but I had finished that by the time I turned 30, and I'm 46 now. So 16
Hmm.
years of, just full-blown self-employment.
And did you find starting out, like finding clients as a coach, difficult, or was it kind of a lot of people from your, environment already that kind of became clients, or how did you go about that in the beginning?
There's never really been a period. There has been one period in my life, in all of that time, where I would say, gosh, this is easy. People are just coming to me. This is easy finding clients. And that was when my book Burnt Out came out. And when Emma Gannon was telling the world that I was her life coach, because I was her life coach for a while. And that just brought a flood of clients to me. And I didn't have to it didn't feel like I had to do anything. For the
Hmm.
rest of the time, I would say it's never been easy. It's never just sort of flowed in. It's always required marketing, which I find absolutely outrageous because I don't want to do marketing and it's my constant battle. But I'm always looking at ways of how to make marketing fun and how to
Mm.
find it, ways of doing it that work for me. But again, in that time period of 20 years, the first few years I was starting up a business, but also having to work on the side. Well, not even on the side. The business that I was running was on the side, and the employment was the full time thing. Um, I've lost my thread. What was I saying?
And at the time finding clients, the only time where it was
Yeah.
easy was with Emma Gammon
Yeah,
talking
that was
about
it.
you.
So,
Yeah.
even going back to 20 years ago, marketing was done so differently. Like I say, Instagram didn't exist.
Mm.
Facebook had only just started. They didn't have ads on Facebook in those days. Like, it was all about going to events and getting people's emails. It was definitely about email marketing, which is still very much one of the, prominent ways of doing it. But so much of, and then when Instagram started, it was a very different thing to what it was today. So many platforms that didn't exist. TikTok didn't exist, all these sort of things. So it's been a lot of, constantly learning new things, which I do kind of enjoy. But in all honesty, I wouldn't say that I've ever found it easy to find coaching clients.
Mm.
But I think that's because I'm not a natural marketeer, and
Mm.
so that is the part that feels like an effort. So I'm always trying to avoid doing the marketing. If I enjoyed the marketing more, I suspect that I would find it, perhaps would have found it easier to kind of, yeah, have a flow of clients. But who knows? But I find marketing the journals a very different thing. See,
Mm.
I'm championing this. So
Mm.
I'm like, oh my God, I love this so much. It's much easier for me to do that than for me to go, oh my God, I
I love
love me and
it.
my coaching so much. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? So it's
exactly.
like,
It's like,
and it's, I get to do, well, I mean, I did photo shoots with you of me and, and all of that. And I really enjoyed having a business partner as well. I loved having a brand where it was me and Vicky, because then you can be, a lot more playful, a lot more creative. The spotlight isn't on you. So yeah, so I definitely find, I'll show off both my journals here. I definitely find marketing journals more fun, but then you've got the fact that you need to sell a huge amount more to,
mm.
make enough money than when you're coaching.
Mm.
But yeah, I would be lying if I said I didn't find the marketing side of things are not a constant opportunity for growth.
I love that phrase. I love that phrase. Very positively talked about, I guess. In terms of, because you touched on it, that the last kind of 6 years were a whole other, experience, was a whole other experience, obviously because COVID. What was it specifically that you found difficult in the last 6 years? I'm guessing from my experience,
Mm,
I've I've had definitely an increase of coaches as clients, because a lot of people used COVID and the furlough to retrain and kind of follow their passion and interest. So there was definitely an increase in different coaches, which obviously for a coach established makes it difficult, because then the market gets really rich and
yeah.
oversaturated.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've this year has been, we're not really sure why, but particularly hard. Not for all coaches. There will be coaches who are like, not me, I'm doing brilliantly. I think business coaches are still, doing pretty well, because I think a lot of, you know, business owners need coaching and want coaching. But other types of coaches, I think, have been really struggling. There's been a collective struggle with where have the clients gone?
Mm.
And I think partly it's oversaturation. I was laughing the other day. I was like, when I first started out as a coach, first of all, there was like about 5 in the world. And secondly, all of the millennials were still in school. Like, we hadn't forget about, the millennials weren't even owning phones. And now, the noise on these platforms is like a gazillion times what it once was when we started out. There are many more coaches out there. And so I do think there's a lot more noise. So we do have to get better at marketing and finding ways that work for us, that we enjoy doing, to be heard. And I actually think that's not a bad thing. I think I've got so much personal growth actually from the challenge of marketing and finding ways to be engaging and dare to be visible. So I'm also grateful for that challenge. I think what's been hard over the past 6 years, yeah, there's more coaches on the scene, there's more noise out there on the platforms. Um, just also, getting a bit tired of, oh, now we've got to learn a new way of marketing. Now Instagram has changed stuff. And I have to say, what Instagram did to small business owners in, the difference now from what it was before. Like going from having thousands of views and hundreds of likes to sort of diminish to what I now experience today is so demoralizing. Felt like a real betrayal, a real kick in the teeth for
Mm.
small business owners. That's how I experienced it off the back of the pandemic. And imagine going into the pandemic as a career change coach, which is my main source of income, or was my main source of income, certainly at that time. No one. In fact, my Audible series, I've got an Audible original series called The Career Change Coach. It was due to launch in March 2020, and they were like, "Wow, you know what? We're going to press pause on that because no one in their right mind is thinking about changing career right now." I remember calling up HMRC to sort of pause some payments, whatever it was, and the woman on the phone. This was in March 2020. Or was it 2019? When did it start? It was
2020.
2020. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
she got the giggles when she heard that I was a career change coach. And she was
Mm.
just like the idea of, and she's like, "Oh my God." She was like, "No one's going to want career change coaching." I was like, "I know, this is why I'm asking you to pause that." But I was just like, she got the HMRC woman got the giggles. And actually, do you know what? I didn't mind. It did make me laugh because I was like, I'm screwed. So, but then people came out of it. But I do think, again, I think right now the world is feeling like a difficult place and people are feeling more constricted. A really well known therapist and coach and guide said, and I won't say her name because, she was saying this to me in private, but she said, right now when things are tough, people don't want to invest in personal growth. They want to invest in pleasure and distraction. And she
Mm.
was like, I think that's why we're not seeing clients like we were before. I actually think for the coaches that are experiencing, as I say, not everyone is, but the coaches who are experiencing a lack of clients, I think it's because for now, a lot of people are going to AI.
Mm.
And we know that people are using the number one reason for using AI is therapy. And I just thought, no, coaching isn't going to be affected by AI. You can't replace that. You can't. And you can't replace one on one therapy.
Mm.
But AI does give us a soothing reassurance. It gives us ideas. It can give us enough to go away with, to go, okay, you know what? I'll try that for the next few weeks or months instead of going to seek out one-to-one professional guidance. And I do suspect that that must be at play because something's happened this year that's really, yeah, just it's literally just so many coaches are going, where are all the clients? Where's everyone
Mm.
gone? However, I will caveat that with this. That could be happening to me because often what happens is things dry up when actually energetically I don't want to do it anymore and I want to move on to something else and it pushes me in a new direction. And the lack of coaching clients this year has pushed me into really going after the dream of the journals, which is what I wanted to be doing anyway. But, I always say with dreams, sometimes as much as we need to be inspired by a dream, we need a push, to
Mm.
get out of our comfort zone and go and take the risk of going after that dream. So actually, I can also look at it was like this is what needed to happen for me to really go after the thing that I really wanted to do. So energetically, maybe I was also keeping the clients away. Who knows? But I'm not the only coach who's been experiencing that this year. And
Mm.
I think it's been tough. It's been a tough time.
I can really identify with the when you're thinking about the next move and you're energetically looking for something else or done with something. Because I was made redundant in my not the last job, but the last job I had before the last job before I went full time. Bit of rambling, but I think I didn't like that job, but I was comfortable
Yeah.
and I was already into photography and taking photos of friends and stuff like that. It's like, oh, maybe in a couple of years I can earn some money on the side with it. And then I was made redundant. And then I started a job that gave me the possibility to start working on weekends and do photography as a business.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely sometimes it is you're inviting that energy because you're ready for something new.
Yeah, exactly. And energy is, and I'm not even on a woo-woo sense, although I 100% believe in that kind of stuff. But even the energy you're giving across, like, the energy with which I'm writing emails, inviting people to, hey, come and do coaching, or the energy that I might be turning up on Instagram and promoting my coaching. If in my heart of hearts, I don't really want to be doing it, but I have to because I have to pay the bills. And don't get me wrong, I love coaching and I've still got coaching clients. And actually, I was just like, I don't actually want to stop coaching. I've stopped taking on coaching clients right now because I need to focus full time on the journals to really help get them off the ground. But from time to time, I do want a break from coaching. It's intense. And so I just know that through my communication, it's going to come across that it's
Mm.
half-hearted. And I know that what really works to engage people is to be, really bringing your full heart to what you're doing. Particularly for me, I just, me half-hearted. No one
Yeah.
they want to be around that. They want me there for the full enthusiasm. Like that's what, that is a huge part of what I'm about. So, it's is it coming from me? Is it coming from what's going on in the world? I think it's a combination.
Yeah, definitely. And I find it interesting that people go with AI for coaching or like therapy. And I'm like, AI always agrees with you. It will never question you. It will never like, are you sure this is really right? Or have you thought about this? Because, maybe you're trying to avoid something or this is telling you something. It's always agreeing with you. So
Yeah,
I'm
which
not sure where the development and the evolvement, like evolving comes in if you're always being agreed with.
totally. And I got really into using it, and I actually did use it not for therapy, but I was going through a difficult time in a friendship and kind of like was receiving really weird behavior, which was kind of bamboozling me slightly on the slightly on the gaslighting, spectrum. And actually, I found it really valuable to have this robot be like, oh, yeah, well, in psychological terms, what could be going on is this, this, and this. And also, but then I became really hooked on the reassurance and, so of course you feel that way. And it uses some of the tools that, you do experience in therapy or you do experience in coaching. So from a personal perspective, I do get how reassuring and comforting it can feel. And sometimes it gave some really good suggestions and some really good advice. I'm not gonna say it didn't. However, also sometimes it gave some advice which was really like, oh, that's red flag, and it's not a person.
Mm,
And I think that you can get some good, sensible guidance from AI. It's pretty impressive how it can have these conversations where you feel like you're in that kind of relationship, that coaching, that guided relationship. And it can pull a lot of psychological understanding of things. But I have to say, when I've asked it for advice on, oh, well, this person does this, what kind of other areas could they look at? And it was so useless. It was so in the box thinking. That's what made me think, oh, no one's going to want to use this. It's rubbish. But that's only
mm,
because I could tell that as,
yeah,
someone who's done this work for 20 years. But if someone doesn't know any better, they'll think, oh, well, if it's a bit like going to a recruitment consultant who will go, oh, well, you've done that, therefore you can do this because it matches it, versus a career change coach will go, okay, scrap the CV. Let's just get back to basics and, figure out what it is that you really want to do and what your skills are and your talents. You don't get that kind of conversation with AI, but I do think at the moment it's probably what a lot of people, and because of the rising cost of living,
mm,
people are like, I just don't have as much money as before. Therefore, do I want to spend it on that kind of thing? I'll just ask ChatGPT for now. You know,
yeah,
I think, I don't know. And I was speaking to another coach today. We were saying it could just be the way that people get that guidance and get that support has really evolved, and we're getting it in so many different ways, through apps, through memberships, through events, through, not just through that one-to-one coaching, which has traditionally a high ticket price. I think also there is that people are looking for that kind of guidance in different ways, which I think, when it's things like this, it
Mm.
gives me an exciting opportunity for creativity, and I am one of the people that's offering different ways to get that guidance through more affordable tools. So yeah, so it's not a bad thing, but it's always challenging when your industry really seems to change, and the way business has normally worked, business models have normally worked, seem to stop working. I think a lot of people are going through that with AI at the moment, and I do think I suspect that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, months ago, I did a post about I actually used AI for photos and like had the comparison to what it looks like. And obviously, with photos, it's really weird because it kind of looks like you, but it
Oh,
doesn't.
I saw that, and you did
Yeah,
pictures of
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And it's like, well, it kind of looks like a cousin or like a weird version of me, but it gave me blonde hair, shoulder length blonde hair and boobs that I don't have, and like all those kind of things. And it just looked odd. But I also know people that, or I've seen it with a past client who is basically, I think, feeding pictures that I took into AI to create new photos. Yeah. Yes. I haven't said anything because whatever, but it's definitely I'm changing my contract because of that. But
Wow.
it's still one of those things where actually if you have a really good bank of photos of yourself and you can feed it like 100 good photos on different angles and whatever, and because you need one photo of you speaking, but you don't have that photo because you couldn't hire a photographer for that event, or the photographer
Yeah.
that was at the event didn't take good pictures of you or whatever, then it's obviously a useful tool, but it doesn't replace the whole thing. Uh,
No, and do you know what? I think we're gonna have this phase where people are turning to AI, and then they're gonna realize actually it isn't the same. You know what's really reassuring is my son is 10, and we watch TikTok together, which actually has worked out really well. I feel like both he and I are learning how to use social media platforms in an intentional, shared way. I'm saying that anyway to excuse it. But it's been really interesting that anytime he sees something that's AI generated, he'll immediately call it out. That's AI, and immediately swipes it away. So he's spotting stuff. He's got an eye for it that I don't yet have. He's
hmm,
training me. He's like, "Can't you see that's AI?" I was like, "What, that baby?" And he's like, "Yes." I was like, "How?" And he's showing me how to spot it. But what I also love is how he's repelled by it. He doesn't
hmm,
want it. Why do I want that fakeness? And you know what? Today I was doing, I used a script for, normally I use it for podcasts, but I've just started a YouTube series called Write It, Create It, Live It, celebrating the people who've been using, well, the Goodbye Hello fans, but celebrating their journeys of going after their dreams and designing lives that they love. Anyway, that's just a side note to promote that. So I'm there editing it, and one of the AI tools is to do. I don't know if you've used this, where it's eye contact. Oh
hmm,
my god! So I switched on because obviously me and the person I'm interviewing are looking at each other on the screen. So we're looking off there, we're looking off there, we're not looking direct at the camera. So you put eye contact, and I mean, I looked like I was on drugs. It was so creepy. I looked like I was like possessed by something. So I mean, it's smart. Like they're making my eyes, they're recreating my eyeballs. So they're looking at the camera rather than
hmm.
down there. But the result is like, ew,
Yeah.
that's really, that's really off. It's like, when people have had tweakments but like a little bit too much, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, what is going
Yeah.
on with the face? What is, your nervous system is going, something's off,
Hmm.
something's off. Likewise, when you see writing, you start to notice, even if I'm editing Something like I write a rough draft and then like, go on, write, just tidy this up for me. You can see the little telltale signs that, AI does the longer semicolons and loves to put in emojis in certain places. When you start to see that people are writing in that way, it makes me go, oh, then it's not really them communicating. It's AI. I'm not interested in hearing what AI's got to say.
Yeah.
So I do think that we will very soon be craving that authenticity that comes from real human being generated content that AI can't recreate. Likewise with copywriting and
Mm.
coaching and therapy, people are going to AI for now, but I think they'll come back.
Yeah.
I
I
hope.
think yeah, definitely. I think, like, I can definitely spot AI photos as well. Like I said, from that said client, I could literally like, "This looks like AI. This is not a real
So,
thing." But it's because I know what to look out for. Like, I look at photos, that's my day. Like, I look at photos all the time. So when I look at the AI thing now, it's like, "Nah, that's not real. This is not real." But also the like you said with the writing, it's the M dashes and all those kind of things, right? But what I find as well is like what I'm doing now, I like literally talk what I want to say, and sometimes it's like 10, 20 minutes, and then I feed it into ChatGPT, and then it sounds like me because
yeah,
it's kind of sorting my thoughts out and makes a structure that I can't create because I just give up and then this is not happening. So in
don't,
that sense,
yeah,
it's really good.
yeah, don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic tool, but I think we're going to recognize, I hope, where it's a useful tool, but it can't and it shouldn't replace human
No.
creativity and human interaction and human connection. It can't. It can mimic it so we can think that we are getting that. But I would say the same for, connection through. I've been voice noting a friend like all the time. And I was like, hey, should we just go real 90s and have an actual phone call? There's nothing can replace all that in-person connection. And, our devices have mimic a lot of things like one-to-one connection, where actually what we need is to be in person with one another when we can be. So yeah, these are the challenges of the digital age, but it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I talk a lot with people about this because it affects everyone who's a small business owner, even big
Mm,
businesses. But it's also, you get to a point where there's no new content, so it's recycling old content. So
yes,
it needs to have that creation and it has to have this original content. Otherwise, it's always repeating the same shit over and over again. Um,
exactly.
and like you said, people will they use it for now, but they will crave the authenticity and the real thing later
Yeah.
again.
It's a bit like it does make me think a bit like you know, I've been seeing more and more of these celebrities who are actually changing the structure of their face, like they look like different people.
Hmm.
They go from looking like one person who's 60 to looking like a different person who looks 20. I mean, great if that's what you're wanting to look like. But there's now this fight back of other celebrities who are like, I'm embracing my wrinkles. Like I'm
Hmm.
and I saw oh, the Jones Road lady, what's who had the makeup before? Ugh, Bobby Brown, Bobby Brown makeup, who now has Jones Road, and she was talking about that, and she was like, "I can tell when people haven't had, made changes to their face," and she's around a lot of people who have, and she's like, and I just find that so much more attractive. I like the wrinkles, I like the realness, like I find it. She said, and my husband says the same. He's like, yeah, they look younger, but they're not attractive like they used to be. Like I think
Hmm.
that it's the same thing. I think there'll be this like, we'll go to that. It's perfectionism. It's
Yeah.
it's back to perfectionism. It's back to quick wins. I do think AI is really useful, but I think that we will crave that 100% human creativity for sure,
Yeah.
which is good. But I'd like us to get there sooner rather than later. worried a lot of small businesses will suffer in the
I
meantime.
agree. Yeah. I mean, we could literally talk about this all day, right? But to wrap this part of the conversation up, I'm always asking two questions. So
Mhm.
one is, what's something you would tell starting out Selina to do differently? What kind of advice would you give her? Or maybe even do the same thing?
I don't think I would tell her to do anything differently. And, I was thinking about this the other day. So many people who are like, don't make the mistakes I did, learn from my mistakes and do it without, the easier way or the quicker way or the faster way. And I'm like, I just don't think I would ever say that to anyone else or my younger self, because the whole creative process is about experimenting and making mistakes and accepting that you're sometimes going to go down paths and it's not what you thought it would be, or you're going to go down paths you thought this is going to be the thing and no one wants it, or you're going along for years, business is working a certain way and suddenly boom, Instagram changes how it does everything and that they're all gone, or AI comes along and sort of changes how people are consuming and the things that they're paying for. And so we have to be, I think, to keep going, and I'm really proud that I've managed to keep going in business as long as I have for 16 years, and the years before that of building it up. And I think it's because I'm willing to make mistakes and pick myself up, and it's a roller coaster ride, but one that I love. So I would say, yeah, bound into this with enthusiasm and embrace imperfection. Let yourself be scrappy. I think I probably, however, would say to myself, just really stick with one email list and grow that. Because if I had done that, I kept recreating, burning things to the ground, starting again, different name, different. If I had just kept growing that email list for 20 years, what an email list I would have. But I didn't do that. And so that is the one thing I would tell myself, like, that email list is gold, grow it, always invite people to join it. That would have been a really good idea.
Yeah, I think that's literally the thing. Mistakes are what make us tick and bring us to the point where we're now. We wouldn't be here in that shape or form if it wasn't for the past mistakes. So definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's small things like maybe don't go with that website, use the other one because that might be an expensive mistake, right? Or don't spend 5K on branding and you don't even have an idea yet what the whole company should look like.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely made some of those mistakes. Yeah, those would
Yeah.
be some good ones as well, not to make. Yeah, those would be great.
Those are the smaller ones in terms of I could have saved money or time, but the experience of making a mistake and learning from it, you can't replicate. Because if someone just
Exactly.
tells you something, it's like, okay, yeah, makes sense, but you might still make something else as a mistake.
Yeah, and I don't think we should be trying to avoid making mistakes.
Mm.
It's part of the creative journey. No great art is made without making loads of mistakes along the way. In fact, often the mistakes are the things that take us in the direction we needed to go in, So, yeah, make mistakes. Keep on making mistakes. You're fine.
Yeah, exactly. The other question is, what is something that you're really proud of? Could be anything from 20 years ago or something recent, something you're really shouting from the rooftop proud of.
I'm really proud of backing myself and backing my ideas. Like, particularly, it's got to be, and there will be more, but it's got to be my two Project U journals, which is the Goodbye Hello journal that comes out every year, and then Time to Thrive, which I created this year. And I've been wanting to create that for since I wrote my book Burnt Out. I knew I wanted to create a toolkit, a journal that specifically taught people how to manage their energy, physical, mental, emotional, motivational, and spiritual. And it's, I really have to sacrifice. Um, Not sacrifice isn't the word, but it's a big leap of faith, and I do have to kind of pulling the purse strings and take in less work in order to create things like this. But I'm really proud that I've been the person to back my own ideas, and to publish them and to put them out in the world and to celebrate them. And yeah, I'm super, super proud of these journals, but proud of myself for backing myself and turning them into reality, from idea to reality.
I love that. That's great. And I mean, I think especially when you have something physically, you just go out and you see that on a shelf, or you see someone buying it, or someone posts about buying it and like how they love it. I just imagine that's a really great boost, and obviously again a lot of pride involved.
It's so amazing. It's almost like these journals have a life of their own, and this year, in sort of celebrating the journals, next year is going to be a decade since
Mm.
that first crowdfunder. And so this year I'm interviewing people that have used the journals, whether it's just for a year or whether they've been using it for 9 years, on the different dreams and the different ways it's helped them shape their lives, whether it's going after big dreams or the day-to-day stuff. And it's so amazing to hear how people use this, and they use it in such different ways as well. Some people do it on their own, some people do it with friends. Um, but yeah, it's there's nothing more fulfilling than hearing about the difference that something you have created has made to people. I have that's makes even more of a difference to me hearing those stories than seeing it on the shelves of Oliver Bonus, although that's also very exciting, so I'm not gonna knock that.
I definitely agree. Okay, I think that's it for the first part. In the second part, we're talking, I guess, all things burnout. So
Sure.
for anyone who's listening, stay tuned. In a couple of days, there will be another episode with the wonderful Selina, and we're talking about burnout and how to manage it or how to prevent it. It's a surprise, I guess. Th- Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Selina, for taking part. It's always
Thanks,
lovely to
Nicole.
talk to you, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.
Bye.